Still a sore subject. We're not allowed to bring it up at Christmas.
I'm fucking real, bro. You ain't shit.
I mean, if I can't say something that just cut cold or make someone laugh, I don't even type it.
You a fucking punk-ass bitch!
Jesus Christ, that hurt. I'm still got a headache over that.
I'm the greatest man talking on the fucking face of the earth right now.
You should be thanking me that I'm talking about Tennessee.
You guys can't coach, to be honest with you. It's just a high school coach.
Fuck me.
What did it all win again? It will win again. With high, not feeling good.
Yeah, go ahead, Unabomber. What the fuck are you saying about the SEC, bro?
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
No, USC is far better than Oklahoma historically.
Can we get a timeout just for half a second?
Because I want motherfuckers like you every goddamn day!
I just can't believe y'all put a statue of this guy already at your campus.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
You a fucking punk-ass bitch!
Then it makes me look like I got owned or something.
Smacking off.
Welcome to another galvanizing edition of Smacking Off, the podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with my co-host and producer, Mr. Doug Phillips. Doug, what's up?
It's boring time of year.
Yeah, we're dedicating this broadcast to the memory of Terry Bradshaw. Is he still alive?
No.
He's still with us, right?
I think so.
But we can still commemorate him. Not like he's dead, but like we could pretend.
I mean,
like
we don't
he's
want
dead.
it. We don't.
It's
want
not like we want him to die.
We don't want to honor him while he's dead because then he won't even get to see that.
Yeah,
but if he sees this episode, then he'll know that he's got fans in Alabama.
So if any of y'all got any hookups with Terry Bradshaw, make sure that he listens to this podcast because we are dedicating it to his memory. The memory of when he played football and was really good.
Yes.
That one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won Super Bowls.
I wonder what he's up to now. Is he doing anything? Has he got anything going on?
Yeah, he talks on like one of those NFL shows.
Oh.
With Jimmy Johnson and some other guys.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
I got the guy that has two names for a penis.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. Jimmy.
Here's a Jimmy joke about your mama that you might not like.
Yeah.
I heard that bitch was a Frisco dyke.
Yeah.
That's a lyric.
That is Ice Cube. No, not Ice Cube.
Dre. I'm pretty sure
that's Dre, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure Snoop delivered that line, but it probably was Dre. It was a Dre song.
Yeah, it was on the Chronic.
Yeah.
Yes, that was an excellent album.
Chronic 2 wasn't that great. But.
No, not near as much Snoop. The Chronic was pivotal.
Kind of the difference between Jaws and Jaws 2.
Yeah, or Led Zeppelin 1 and Led Zeppelin 2.
I don't know. Both of those albums were good.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin 4 though.
Yeah,
that's the blockbuster.
I don't know. I like Zeppelin 2 is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I mean from start to finish.
I can see that.
But that one song they ripped off from, what was the name of that band? Spirit.
Yeah.
They ripped that.
Randy California.
Yeah, they ripped that fucking that one lick off, man. You can tell. I mean, once you listen to it.
Yeah, it was the whole entire song. Was in that one lick.
They actually, I think Spirit should have got half of their take home from Led Zeppelin, from Stairway to Heaven on. I think. I mean, because in the late 70s, would there have been a Zeppelin at that point without Stairway to Heaven?
Of course, if we want to go down that slippery slope, then they should have donated all of their proceeds from the hit song Dire Maker to the people of Jamaica.
Dire Maker.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't.
It's like some slang. It's like, did you make her? Kind of.
Did you make her? What is that like? Is that sexy talk?
Did you make her? Yeah. Kind of. Def Leppard copied it with Armageddon it.
Armageddon it.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good song. It's a really good tune.
I don't know about that. I'm not really a big Def Leppard fan.
They
had some hits.
They were awesome to me. Up until their drummer lost his arm and they brought in all the electronic sounding drums. Then they were no longer like an ACD clone band. They were like AC/DC meets who's the band that used electronic drum sound?
Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, but that was even before 9 Inch Nails.
Oh yeah. They were kind of late in the game for that.
I mean, he's a good drummer and everything, but he lost his fucking arm, dude. Just grab another drummer. Shit.
Well, I mean, but that's solidarity now. You know that works. I mean, hey, for a one-armed drummer, he's fucking awesome.
He can do some of the coolest fills for one-armed. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, Well, I mean, part of it's electronics, of course. You know.
He hits it and 3 sounds come out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I need that drum kit. I think it'd make me sound like a great drummer.
Yeah. They actually admitted that when they first went on tour with him, they didn't really believe in him that much, and they've had a drummer under the drum riser that was ready, that would basically be.
So he just sat there the whole time with his sticks raised in the air, waiting for somebody to point.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Wonder what that gig paid. Did it?
I think that the one-arm drummer was making more money.
Oh, obviously, because he's a one-arm drummer. I mean, that's pretty much your whole shtick at that point. Hey, we're the band that has the one-arm drummer, even though they were Def Leppard and had like billions of hits.
I heard Laborers one time to run a jackhammer, and I had a guy hide the fact that he was one-arm.
I remember the story.
And then when we got there, he took me to the side and told me in broken English. I'm not going to tell you where he was from, but told me in broken English that he needed more money than the other guys because it was really hard work.
Well, I mean, I guess it was harder work for him because he's one-armed.
It was.
Did you pay him extra?
No, I told him no, but I'm going to pay you the same thing as I'm paying the other guys. I feel happy about it.
Yeah.
And I probably won't pick you up again. Not for jackhammering.
You're an asshole. The guy had one arm. He was trying.
If I had something that, there's probably some stuff that a one-arm guy could do better, but that's not one of them.
Like play drums with electronic drum triggers.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, this conversation really.
Okay, so let's get on to.
We're doing a show here. Yeah,
Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, let's. This show is dedicated to the memory of Terry Bradshaw, who coincidentally enough is still alive. So if you are friends with Terry Bradshaw, please have him tune in to the rest of the show. We've got a good one tonight. We've got we've actually got a few friends to the show. One friend of the show we haven't talked to in a while. Our good friend Eric Easterwood. Huge Auburn fan. We've smacked with him for quite some time online.
And it seems that he's picked up a...
Eric has got him a wonderful young lady in his life, and she'll actually be on the show later on. Her name is Ashton Cowan. And Miss Ashton has a few things to say. And it's cool. They are a house divided. Eric is a diehard Auburn fan. Miss Ashton is... she's going to roll.
I think he's an Auburn grad, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, he went to school there, which explains a few things.
Right.
And also we have our old friends Dane, Kelley, and that other guy,
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Timothy Bailey.
We have Timothy Bailey on the show to talk about the and talk a little bit about a lot of different things, but mainly about 2 programs that were showcased at the end of the year. Last year, and that was Clemson and Oklahoma. So we're going to dissect all of the different comings and goings in Clemson and the Sooner Nation. So that's pretty much what we've got. Again, the show is dedicated to the memory of Terry Bradshaw. Terry, we love you, and we respect all that you
Goodbye, Joe, me gotta go, me oh my oh. Yeah, me gotta go, pull the P-road down the bayou. Yeah, my Yvonne, the sweetest one, me oh my oh. Hey, son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Hey, jambalaya, pumpkin style, filet gumbo. Hey, 'cause tonight I'm gonna see my Chevy, oh. Big guitars filled through jars of the gale. Hey, son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. If they don't know the place is buzzing, can folks come to see by the dozen? Yeah, dressed in style, the hog wild of Yale. Hey, son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Hey, jambalaya, pumpkin style, filet gumbo. Cause tonight I'm gonna see Mama share the meal. Big guitars filled through jars in the gale. Hey, son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Hey, son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou.
Dane Kelley and Timothy Bailey.
He does.
The cat. He's
You want to bring him on for a trio?
He's reminding you that the cats are out and he's not out, and this is bullshit. I speak dog.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't speak German, but German dog, German Shepherd.
I heard today that Baker had an awesome senior day, and that every scout was really impressed by him, and that they say in person that he can make all the throws, and they have no worries about his game to translate. And according to Joel Klatt, every expert at the Senior Bowl said he will translate. So
yeah,
that's pretty big.
and watching Baker looked like a NFL quarterback. He looked when he threw like a NFL quarterback does.
It's a credit to Lincoln Riley, really, because you could tell Lincoln really changed the system up this year a lot to give Baker like total control, which is different than what had been happening. And that's really helped him. He can read better. He can read really well at the line of scrimmage. You could tell that during the offseason they really worked hard to make sure that they got him to be an NFL caliber quarterback, not just a really great college quarterback. Because there is a difference, obviously. The Vikings, it would have been tough if, like, for example, Bradford would be a Case Keenum, who's good, but, he really makes the coaches work. He's got to get those windows wide open. And it would have been tough. It would have sucked for a team to spend a first-round pick on a Case Keenum-like quarterback, which is probably what Baker Mayfield was in 2015, compared to what he is now, which is more polished, more Drew Brees-esque. I'm not going to say he's going to have a career like Brees because that would be way too bold to claim. But, his game is pretty similar to Brees.
What?
Oh,
That's some of the gayest shit I've ever seen.
Dane, no, I sincerely hope Doug had to step out of the room for a moment. Doug, have you seen the hat that Dane is wearing? Dane, come on now. Don't be hiding from folks. Where's it at?
Oh shit.
Do you see this shit?
Did it come with the fucking bullshit, or did you put the bullshit under it yourself?
Does that hat come with that purple hair? So it's all built in.
It's all built in, baby.
Oh, that is beautiful. Dane, keep talking, because when you talk, you actually we get a big, giant, huge picture of what you got going on there, what you're repping tonight. Let's talk about what you're repping for a moment, please.
What am I repping?
I see the Clemson Paul there. Let's
here's
talk
the big
about it.
football battle between OU and Clemson, if you guys want to hear about that.
Let's do it.
Leon O'Neal Jr. Recently has gained a lot of traction with Oklahoma. He was originally a Texas A&M commit, and then I hear that Clemson gained some traction with him as well. Most people from the recent picks are saying that he's probably going to go Sooners, but someone on 247 did say that they think he's going to go Clemson. I asked a couple of my friends who are Clemson insiders, and they don't think that they will land him, that he'll either go to A&M or OU, but I find that to be very interesting because, this dude has a lot of talent. He's probably the best safety, honestly, in this class. The guy has range. He's really quick, and he reminds me a lot of the way that Roy Williams tape looked in high school. So I would love to have him. And Roy Williams has actually been heavily trying to recruit him. But it looks like he says he's down to 4. He's down to Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma, and A&M. But with Clemson's recent addition to the fray, really, it's probably Clemson, Oklahoma, and A&M are what he's down to at this point. I think Georgia's probably done in the race with this guy.
Never heard of her.
One question, Dane. Is that Clemson purple?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like the wrong shade to me.
What do you mean you never heard of him? You guys are hoping to get this guy.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of Leon O'Neal. He's the best safety.
He's not coming to Clemson.
You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's hard.
It'd be nice, but
it's hard not to take Dane seriously with his hat and ensemble
the
that he has
shit's
going
gold,
on here.
bro.
It really is.
Did y'all get the gold one?
It is gold. Gold.
Did y'all get gold ones this year?
Gold and purple.
Who Alabama fans?
Yeah.
Sure.
I need that wig in my life. I really do. If my hair looked like that every day, I would get so much tail. I'd be so laid. I really would. Because I'm a beautiful motherfucker as it is, but that's next level. That's some next level shit right there.
I'm telling you, man. This is game day right here.
Yeah.
Game day.
Doug and Shannon, you guys have Alabama's been getting in the headlines for some recruiting because they're recruiting a 5-star recruit's dad to be on the coaching staff.
I've never heard of them.
We've got plenty of room on our coaching staff. There's always a position that Saban will create. If I mean, he's got like every former head coach and every program from every part of America is somewhere on the staff. And
Let's be real though. If you got a guy who's qualified to fill a role, and you also kind of want to win this 5-star recruit over, I mean, why not, right?
Right.
I think we're going to get Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is going to be like delivering sandwiches and stuff to everybody.
Yeah, he can't be an on-the-field coach because
I want to see Hugh Freeze get told he can't throw.
Don't y'all? I never did get an answer from you guys. Isn't Art Briles on your staff in some kind of capacity, or he was going to be at one point?
Not that anybody knows, but I mean we've got a whole staff outside of the staff.
Yeah. We got like a ghost staff.
Yeah, we do. There's 715 people on the football staff. You didn't know that,
That's
did you?
fucking unreal.
I know.
Yeah.
You're just mad because y'all can't afford to hire that many people.
Yeah, we're paid.
We don't need that many. We still beat you motherfuckers.
You didn't this year.
That one time, yes, you did. That happened that one time.
Hey, we still beat those motherfuckers 3 times.
2 out of 4 is coming this year, guys. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, I will say
it's going down.
Let me get a notebook and mark that down real quick. I'm going to go ahead and
jot it down.
I'm doing that. How do you
going back to normal?
How do you spell Clemson?
And then you
try it with a K.
Defensive lineman. Jeez.
We're going back to normal. What does that mean?
Well, I was thinking after the way that this particular season looked, and I really do think that, and it's no offense, because I thought Clemson was a good team, but the ACC was so down this year. Clemson
we'll get them next week.
Was better than the other teams. I thought you're going to go back to the 10 wins every 3 or 4 years. You get back. Is it 4 guys back? You get 4 guys back.
From 82 to 2016, it was the Clemsoning era.
I don't need that negativity in my life.
You need to put that wig back on. That's why you're getting negativity right now.
This whole segment's gone downhill.
That wig blocks all negativity from 4 miles away.
Don't need it.
Okay.
Well, we're going 12-0. Have you guys seen our fucking gauntlet of a schedule?
I don't think it's near as brutal as the one that Alabama's got to face this year, but whatever.
Hey, we played Louisville.
Give me a rundown of your schedule.
Louisville, the Citadel.
Brutal.
Alabama Polytechnic.
Yeah, we play Alabama Poly at the end of the year, like we always do.
Alabama chose to join the SEC East this year.
Did we?
No,
I heard Auburn's been trying to do that shit for a while now.
They since Saban got there, they've been wanting to join the East.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're wanting.
It's come up a few times.
But all those talks are mostly like talks with.
Well, Dane, I'm looking over the schedule right now, and this is the 2018 Clemson Tigers football schedule. You open up. This is the probably one of the most brutal openers that I can think of in college football. You open with
Paladins, baby,
with Furman.
Yes.
Then you go to Texas A&M, which is experiencing kind of a down situation right now. Georgia Southern will be playing at Clemson. That's going to be a barn burner.
Hey, they're a pretty good. They're a triple option team.
Now Clemson at
Didn't
Georgia
they rush
Tech.
for like 400 yards on Alabama a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It really
2011.
Now look, there's actually two. They got 2 games very early in the schedule that could pose some difficulty, and that's Georgia Tech and Syracuse.
Yeah.
Syracuse is going to shock the world this year, man. I'm telling you.
They shocked the world last year.
Yeah, they did.
Not this year.
They did.
He did.
Did you see Syracuse got the Oklahoma running back that had a 99-yard touchdown and averaged 10 yards a carry?
Really?
Abdul Adams transferred to Syracuse because the backfield's too crowded for him to get reps.
Man, those transfers are some shit. Have you guys heard about the new rule the NCAA is considering about allowing pretty much free reign on players just transferring in and out of programs at will?
Oh, I didn't know.
I think that there should be a change because I don't think it's fair that a player should have to necessarily sit out.
I don't think there is either. If they're not going to pay them.
But I don't think that you should be able to transfer multiple times without sitting out. And I also don't think that if you're an underclassman that you should have to sit out if you're an underclassman if you're a sophomore. But if you've already used a redshirt year, I don't think that should take away a year of your eligibility. I think that's wrong. Maybe sit them and not take away
we just watched a national championship that was commandeered by 2 freshman quarterbacks. I mean, has that when in recent history or ever have we ever seen that?
It's never happened. I mean, we were talking about last year how rare it was with Jalen Hurts because it hadn't been since Jamel Holloway that a freshman quarterback had led a team to a position to win a national championship. And that was in the 80s, and he wasn't even a quarterback. He was a running back who took snaps under center and pitched to guys. So, I mean, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about the quarterbacks, too. Both teams were loaded with freshman talent.
Oh, yeah. Ruggs and Judy really shined in that game. I think if you're a Bama fan, that makes you really excited.
Well, I think what I'm hinting around at is the terms red shirt and things like that. I think are also going to fall by the wayside. In addition to players being able to bounce back and forth where they want to, I do agree with the fact that there does need to be once you've made the decision to transfer somewhere, then you're pretty much stuck there for whatever period of time, or you'll face whatever penalty if you decide to leave.
I think if a coach leaves, then you should be able to transfer without any type of penalty.
This camping trip was a good idea. Yeah, it sure is relaxing. Peaceful. Groovy. Kinda dark, though. Man, I'm getting thirsty. Yeah, let's have another light beer from Miller. Lights, West Philly! Hey, Philly! What was that? The creature. What creature? Well, legend has it that a horrible thing stalks these woods. Oh, and it comes out when the moon is full. What does this creature look like? It walks on 2 legs, but it isn't human. It's got big eyes that bulge out and... It's the creature! Hey, guys, where you going? Hey, guys, where are the marshmallows?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Come on, it's after us! Man, did you see that?
I think that goes double if you're. That was the coach that actually recruited you for that school.
Man, if you guys support this, are y'all thinking about
you shouldn't use that excuse, but if it's like your OC or running back coach or your head coach, then you should be able to be like, this isn't what
Dude, that could kill a program. Like if Jimbo Fisher leaves Florida State to go to A&M, like half the players just leave the program.
Or decide to leave and go with him.
Right, like what the hell?
Yeah, I'm not sure you can allow that because...
That's fair. You'd have to make it to where they couldn't transfer to the school your head coach isn't going to.
See, by changing this, there definitely there's a Pandora's box that is going to be opened. When
I don't think it should be opened. I'd like it the way it is.
The way it is
now,
pretty good.
I think there are a few exceptions though. Like if you have redshirted a year already, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like Zarek Cooper redshirted his freshman year. And then he sat on he played in a good number of games, but he never cracked starting position. If he wants to transfer like he did this week, I don't think he should have to sit out another year.
No, and then what's worse is you lose a year of eligibility on that too.
Right.
Like even if they sat out but didn't lose a year of eligibility, then I'd be okay with that. That would make sense.
Well, if they have a year to burn with a red shirt, they don't technically lose a year, do they?
Yes. I mean, they don't if they have the red shirt to burn.
Right.
But if they do have the redshirt, and then here's the other thing, like here's a situation from the NCAA's perspective. They care about academics and these kids that didn't have an opportunity to be able to graduate. If you're letting a program redshirt you, and then you can transfer and get a second redshirt because of a transfer, that allows these kids to have 6 years of paid school. So that
that's a positive. I like that.
That's a positive in my opinion, because like now you have these kids that aren't going to make it to the NFL. They have 6 years to finish their program, and then the really overachievers can get a master's from that. And then here's the other rule the NCAA is considering, and I like it to an extent. I worry about it a little bit, but they're saying if you have only played a certain amount of snaps, that they may consider changing it to where if you haven't played a certain amount of snaps, like they're thinking about changing it to where you don't burn a red shirt for just having a few snaps. I like it on the basis of that, but I also don't like the idea of we haven't shown this freshman on tape all year, so we'll show him off in the playoff Final Four idea. Like I don't think
I thought that the rule was already something similar to that, but it had to be in the first 6 games, and you could only have a certain percentage of the snaps or something.
That's for a medical.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, he wasn't redshirted though, so I mean, yeah, we're gonna redshirt this guy, but since he hasn't had enough snaps, we just have him available now for our playoff game or our bowl game. I don't think maybe for a bowl game it makes sense because really that's for young players anyways. But I just think it's kind of silly that like you could potentially redshirt a guy, making sure that you don't burn his red shirt and then be like, yes, we'll use him now whenever all the chips are on the table, and then we don't have to burn a red shirt for it. Like that seems a little silly. So they'll have to probably make it to where like you can't use him in the postseason or / like after the first 6 games or something like that, or unless the game is out of reach, etc. Like one of those things where if you play him in a game where the score is fair, the rule would have to be worked on pretty well, to make sure it's fair and competitively fair.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, that's just my take on it. I mean, that take it at face value or whatever. You may just be like, if they can't stop a freshman they haven't seen before, then that's up to them. Then I understand that perspective too.
Well, when does recruiting come down? When's the final day? Is that February?
February 7th is National Signing Day. Obviously, players can still sign after that period, but it takes there's special hoops that have to be jumped through.
Okay, so
what are you guys hearing about Justin Ross? I think he was on a visit not too long ago in Tuscaloosa.
Until we sign him, there's not really much I think about it. That's the thing. That's the thing. I really don't get wound up in recruiting prospects once they sign their name on the dotted line and they show up in Tuscaloosa as a player ready to start the process, as Nick Saban likes to call it.
Then I start going to watching film.
Then I've got plenty to say about it. We're going to go look at some film. We're going to get excited about it. Up until then, I really have to shut the noise out. Nick Saban refers to that as rat poison, and I'm all about the process, my friend.
You're just that's the coach's responsibility to worry about that.
And really it is. I mean, there's no sense of me getting bent out of shape about it. That's why I get so tickled when I see guys duke it out about prospective recruits visiting this university versus that university.
I really like the storyline of recruiting, and I like it a lot. What I don't like is when a guy let's say a 17-year-old kid commits to, let's say, Colorado, okay, or whatever, and he gets offers from other schools that are better than Colorado. Then Colorado fans may get butthurt and blow him up on Twitter about how he's not loyal and stuff. And it's like, stop, you're being a tool. I hate that kind of nonsense. Or even there was an Oklahoma fan. This was pretty funny actually. Tremonda Moore was a kid that came out of an Oklahoma high school a few years ago. He was a 4-star recruit, and he committed to OU and then flipped to Oklahoma State. But then his academics weren't good enough, so he went to community college. And this OU fan messaged him and said how he's glad he's not coming to OU because he's not loyal and no one needs anybody like that. And then what's funny is now that he got done with community college, he committed to OU and he's going to OU. And then Tremonda messaged the guy and said, "It looks like I was more loyal than you thought," which I thought was kind of funny. But
what's the consensus?
But really, it's just so silly.
What's the consensus top 10 right now in recruiting? I know Georgia's number 1 by a mile.
Georgia's not by a mile. Ohio State and Georgia are pretty much neck and neck. I don't think that those two will flip or change. I think 1, 2, and 3 is pretty well set. It's gonna stay at the 3 that are up there. Texas is the 3rd, behind Ohio State and Georgia, and then 4th right now is Penn State, and then this is where it gets kind of mixed up between the 5, 6, and 7 is kind of debated between the next services, and that's between Oklahoma, Alabama, and Notre Dame. Those kind of flip around. And then I think Clemson's in the top. It's like 8 or 9 in all of them. So I think the 7 are pretty much what the 7 are, but the top 3 I don't think are going to budge.
Okay.
Who the fuck wants to go to Penn State, really?
Well, when I saw Micah Parsons had that situation with Ohio State, and Ohio State promised not to recruit him, which is why Ohio State, by the way, isn't number 1, because it's that thin of a margin between them and Georgia. I thought, well, there's no way Micah Parsons is going to re-sign with Penn State, right? I mean, why would you go battle it out with Michigan State and Michigan for 2nd in the Big Ten West, Big Ten East every year? I was like, he's going to come to Oklahoma because that was his number 3 school, and of course he trolled Oklahoma and put on an Oklahoma shirt in his video and ripped it, and then he took it off for a Penn State shirt. And I was like, he went to Penn State, but
that shit was hilarious.
Oh, you saw
that?
That
was one of the best fucking. Oh man, it was great.
Yeah, his explanation was he really wanted to go to Ohio State, but Penn State and Oklahoma were really close, and he really almost chose Oklahoma, which that's cool. I want these kids to have fun. It's their moment,
Right.
So if that's how he enjoys it, then that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a player and I was being recruited, I would play it up for right down to the last second.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hell awesome. Yes.
I mean, those kids have never.
Shit out of South Carolina too.
South Carolina.
So,
why do Clemson fans hate South Carolina so much?
Because
I mean, that's
fuck
the state.
'em, that's why.
Okay,
because of Spurrier, isn't it?
You're right.
Spurrier had that run, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to run up that ass.
So in the International Bowl, which is the U19 team, it has a couple of college players, but mostly it's high school players, and they play against the Canadian national team.
Mm-hmm.
In hockey?
3-star. No, it's football.
They play football in Canada?
Yeah, they do.
Really? They have a football league, don't they?
No, that's hockey.
They've actually beaten the United States a few times in the last couple of years in that, actually. Surprisingly, I was surprised to figure that out. This year it didn't go so well for them.
Yeah, because Trump's president.
Canadian football it's basically hockey without without the sticks.
Trump's president now. Americans won't lose anything ever again.
Never.
Never.
The U19 team beat Canada 47-7, and the MVP was.
Tell me this: did they have a 55-yard line in that game?
Do what?
Did we go with the 55-yard line from the middle of the field?
Yeah, is that American field or Canadian
it was
field?
in Cowboy Stadium.
Oh, okay, that's America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't get much more.
So what
American
you're saying
than
is there was a 55-yard line and the touchdown was in the first row, right?
Yeah.
The first row of the end zone.
Yeah.
No, they played by American rules.
Okay. That's and again, I'm telling you, Trump's president. You're going to see a lot more of that.
But a couple Sooners really shone in that game, and then a couple Florida State guys did. There was a Florida State player and this Minnesota wide receiver. He's a 4-star. I don't know how 4-stars end up at Minnesota, but he chose to go there over Alabama and Clemson.
Where?
For some reason. He chose to go to Minnesota over Alabama and Clemson, and he had a monster game in the International Bowl.
They got a pretty hot coach at Minnesota, don't they? What's his name?
Yeah, they do.
Golden Gophers.
PJ Fleck, right?
Fleck, yeah.
So we'll
That's
see.
probably
I mean,
why.
I don't know.
That's a good pickup for them, obviously.
The only thing I know about Minnesota is the tactics they use on the opposing team's field goal kickers.
Minnesota has 7 national championships. I mean, they were all before the 40s, but I mean they're
That ain't real.
They got one with 2 losses. It's kind of like I hear a lot of shit as a Bama fan.
That's back when they had leather football
But
helmets.
in
Come on, man.
1960, Minnesota had one where they lost their bowl game and they lost a regular season game too. They ended up with 2 losses, but they were actually unanimous national champs that year.
Well, that was before that was
When a bowl game was not factored in.
Yeah. So I mean, like those games were just like basically glorified scrimmages, right?
Kind of.
More or less.
I mean, that really didn't mean anything. So
Have y'all ever?
The national champ had nothing to play for, but the other team always had a lot to play for because you could end the season on a high note by beating the national champ.
Absolutely.
just like Auburn.
While we're on Minnesota, before we leave this, have y'all ever seen what they do to a
Visit our Facebook pages, Smacking Off the Podcast fan page and Smacking Off the Podcast group page, facebook.com/group/smackoff, facebook.com/smackologists.
Have y'all ever seen?
No. What
you need to look it up on YouTube. They've got this freaking gopher that comes up on the jumbotron, and he looks with one eye right at the fucking. They'll aim him right at the kicker. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's no way the kicker cannot see it because it's behind.
It's a big ass eye too. So,
Right.
I mean, the eye encompasses.
And he shakes. He shakes. And he looks.
Yeah.
And kickers do not do. Decent kickers don't do well there.
Really.
Really. Not as
Because
good.
of that fucking gopher.
Right. Look it up.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm
with
telling
this.
you.
You're serious.
This is a real thing.
What's he doing on the jumbotron?
He's doing some shit, making the kicker. Get
He
the
looks.
yips.
He looks with one eye and he shakes. And the crowd actually gets quiet too. It's a tradition up there. From what I heard, the NCAA was actually thinking about.
I'll definitely have to check that out for sure. That's savage.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things I've ever
Minnesota
seen.
football.
Did you see the moves that Oklahoma's made at coaching staff?
I've seen a couple things on my.
They refer to it as the dramatic chipmunk.
Okay.
To distract opposing kickers. There's some articles on it. There's like Bleacher Report and SB Nation, and yeah, there's like it's a thing.
It is a thing.
We would know more about it if they were actually ever fucking decent.
It's what it is. It's a chipmunk. It's like this chipmunk that just kind of gives them the eye.
He's a golden gopher.
Yeah, well, he is a golden gopher. He's a golden chipmunk or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's savage. That's cool.
That kind of is. I don't know. Man, I wonder if Saban's seen this. Do I need to? Let me get on my Twitter and send this to Nick Saban real quick.
Go ahead and send it straight to his Twitter account.
Because we need to get because our kicking game is shot.
Right.
We need to do something like the reverse.
Something like that.
How has it been so
We
bad
need to do
for
something
so
like the
long?
reverse.
To our
of that.
kicker, and
Yeah.
that way when he misses, then we can say, "What was that goddamn jumbotron?"
Yeah.
What, Timmy?
Oh,
I missed that.
My cat's now being annoying, so I had to yell it.
Oh,
I know
man.
that's. I think that one thing, that one story right there, just kind of threw this whole like interview into a completely different realm now. And this is when it's going to start. This is going to be smacking off the podcast after dark. Everybody, take your shirt off. Everybody, get comfortable. Dane, you still wearing that hat?
I'm completely naked at the moment.
Oh fuck!
Do you have any honey?
I do.
I would prefer it to be real honey and not that, the fake shit.
Oh, it's real. Local.
Synthetic honey. Is that real?
It's local, baby.
Ooh, local honey.
Hey, what's going on with the Oklahoma's quarterback situation?
Timothy, that's a question for you.
We got three highly touted guys. We got a freshman coming in who was unreal in high school this year.
Is that the one that looks like a girl?
No, that's Jalen Hurts. He plays for Alabama.
No, he cut his hair, bitch. Oh, no, he's a respectable businessman now.
He cut his hair off?
He sure did.
Oh, shit.
Jalen Hurts, you know what? And look, hey, you call me crazy, but maybe, just maybe, it was the hair. What are you watching over there? Doug's completely tuned out. He's watching.
What?
He's watching some shit now.
That'd be savage. That'd be cool. Like, I would love to see, I like Jalen I think he's an awesome kid.
You need to pull that shit up and look at it, man. He looks great.
Yeah, he really does. It's totally night and day. Like, it's almost like he's not.
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, it's really that different.
Doug's checking out this chipmunk over here. Or excuse me, the golden gopher.
This is a good looking chipmunk.
So, yeah, Oklahoma has Tanner Mordecai coming in. They have Austin Kendall, who played really well as a backup last year, even though he was the dumbass that called the Ohio State defense basic, and we got to have that flag. That fucking held up on our stadium after he decided to say that. He redshirted last year.
It definitely changed the whole tone of the Oklahoma Ohio State game. Yeah. Oh man, that put some fight in him.
And then the game, or then the next year, Austin redshirted because it only makes sense. Mm-hmm. And apparently he was playing on the scout team this year, and apparently he looks really good. And Kyler Murray is by no means an automatic choice at quarterback.
Kyler Murray, that name sounds familiar. Wasn't he like the #1 quarterback in the country coming out of high school?
Yes, sir. He's really good, and he's really developed his game as a passer. A&M kind of threw him out there a little early, and then also it's A&M, so they've kind of, since Manziel, they've just kind of fucked up with quarterbacks. And
Manziel did ruin him.
He's been playing college football for like 10 years. What? Good God. Ohio State and Oklahoma, they have quarterbacks that I swear to God they go to school and get doctorate degrees.
I know how crazy this sounds, though. Well, Kyler Murray, he's going to be a redshirt junior. I mean, he played 1 year at A&M, and then he transferred and then had to sit out. And then this year he was a backup as a redshirt sophomore. So, yeah, I mean, he's technically been out he'll be out for 4 years when the season starts. So, what's crazy is, even though this is going to sound absurd, Baker Mayfield being gone seems crazy. I mean, it just kind of hit me today because Baker, on his Twitter account, actually, he's like, this will be my last time wearing the Crimson helmet because he's out at the Senior Bowl and stuff. And, like, man, where did the 3 years go that we had with him? I mean, that guy was – it's kind of sad, because we never won the national championship with that guy. It's really a wasted opportunity for the Sooners. It really is.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. Dane's crying. Dane's having a touching moment of it. Dane, put the wig back on.
Put the wig back on. Come on.
No, I mean, really though, it really was a blown opportunity for the Sooners. This one's gonna hurt for a while, but
emphasis on the word blow.
Yeah, emphasis on that for sure.
Guys,
he's not gonna be Baker. No, and no one should expect him to be.
So he's not going to be grabbing his nuts and planting the flag on the field.
No.
Telling everybody to fuck off.
Planting his dick up Ohio State's ass.
Getting drunk and running from cops. We shouldn't expect that sort of behavior from him.
Hey, look, let's not do this stuff.
Hey guys, let's look.
Way, did you guys see Tom Brady cussed out a camera guy and said, out of my way? And I'm like, wow, no one worried about that, but they worried about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, but.
Saying, hey,
but he's fucking
Brady,
Tom Brady,
he is Tom Brady, and he's a professional,
man. Fuck out of his way. What the
he's
fuck?
a professional. He's got things to do. He's got places
Tom
he's
Brady
has
enough money to buy his way out of anything.
I'm just saying though, like,
and he regularly buys himself out of losses in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like,
ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what Saban does.
He clearly does what he wants to do.
Unreal. Like, listen, Brady was great. He always is, and I'm no hater of the Patriots. I respect the hell out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was actually rooting last year in the Super Bowl. But that was one of the most ridiculously officiated. That was the worst officiated game of my entire lifetime.
No.
By a lot.
No, that was a national championship this year.
The title was badly officiated, but they didn't have that many plays that changed because if they call that one blocked punt correctly, it's just a false start. So if they call it correctly, it's a false start. It still isn't a blocked punt.
Alabama had a game in the early 80s where they went up to to Penn State, and they caught a touchdown that would have won the game. I swear to God, 5 yards from the back of the end zone. I mean, the guy was way in. He was way in.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd had a replay, then Alabama would have won the game.
Yeah.
But the official called him out.
Yeah.
In 2005 or 6, I want to say it was 5. It was Adrian Peterson's sophomore year. I know he wasn't very good that year. That was the year after they lost Jason White and all those guys. Texas Tech. Texas Tech. That was a weirdly officiated game. Texas Tech player throws a pass. They call it a first down. He was like a yard short of the first down. That was on 4th down. And then Harrell throws one through the back of the end zone, and they call it a touchdown, even though no one caught anything at all. And then they had to review it. It was the first year of replay, luckily, so they reviewed it, and they were like, the ruling on the field has been changed. And I'm like, well, no shit. No one even touched the ball. Like, it just went through the back of the end zone. And then a couple plays later,
did they drug test those referees?
No.
Have you seen the picture of the referee celebrating with New England after they scored? Have you seen it?
And then Devin, he put a touchdown at the end. He was down at the 1, and they called it a touchdown, and then they reviewed it and confirmed it, and then OU lost. It wasn't a big deal because it was just the difference between going to the Cotton Bowl and going to the Holiday Bowl that year. So it didn't really matter, but it was kind of funny.
The Cotton Bowl's better than the Holiday Bowl. Come on now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
but
Cotton Bowl's got a lot of history.
Hey, guys, let's look at these schedules, and I want each of you to tell us where your trouble spots are this year. Because Clemson, I mean, I know Dane said they were going 12-0, but, man, they'll be lucky to win 9 games.
Lucky to win 9 games.
Okay, 8.
Holy
Let's mark
shit.
it back to 8. I'm just messing with you, Dane.
Yeah, that actually Clemson's schedule is pretty favorable. Actually, both teams' schedules are very favorable to 12-0. But if you're going to lose one, Dane, where's it going to be this year?
Florida State.
I already said that.
Yeah.
Tallahassee, they'll be ready to play that game for sure. Both teams will be ready.
How about you, Timothy? What do you think?
Well,
for Okie,
there's a couple games on the schedule that worry me. OU doesn't play any marquee guys out of conference, but they do play 3. The first 4 weeks are.
Are you worried about the lane train any?
I'm worried a little bit about that.
That's that. I mean, hey, say what you will.
It's going to mean everything for FAU, and they're going to be starting an Oklahoma quarterback when they kick off.
Yeah, and say what you will. If Oklahoma doesn't fix some serious problems on defense, that's not a gimme game, which it should be.
And then, the week right after that, let's say that game is a little bit more challenging. And Oklahoma's traditionally not always played their best in the beginning of the season.
True.
You saw that 2 years ago.
Yes.
And then you have the next game is UCLA, who has a talented roster and now has Chip Kelley. So that's not. I'm just saying.
Dane, you don't like Chip Kelley?
No, I love Chip Kelley. It sounds like it's going to be a rough year for Oklahoma to me. But.
Really?
And then
yeah,
after that,
so.
they go at Iowa State.
and now I don't know, is Iowa State returning a lot of starters this year?
I honestly think that if OU loses, there's a couple of games I'm looking at though on the schedule. At TCU will be the first true road game OU plays, and that's all the way in late October. And then obviously the Cotton Bowl when they play Texas, because that's always tough. And Bill Snyder. You guys laughing?
I'm not laughing.
I'm not laughing. Dane's
5 or 6 losses, to be honest with you.
I didn't at all. But I'm just saying, it could be interesting because you have a young team. You have a young quarterback in the first couple weeks against some decent teams. That'll be interesting. The defense will be a little young.
Lane train coming through, baby.
Dane thinks that.
I do think OU goes.
Lane's gonna be a problem.
11-1. They'll lose a game that we won't expect. Is probably what will happen.
So Dane, did you say they were going to have 5 or 6 losses?
It sounds like it to me. Yeah.
Where do you see the losses? Are you seeing a problem with Lane? You think Lane's gonna?
Harvey, want anything special for your birthday?
Just a decent cup of coffee.
You're kidding.
I'm serious. Honey, your coffee's undrinkable.
Pretty harsh.
Well, so's your coffee. You know, the girls down at the office make better coffee on their hot plates.
Yeah, upset city right there.
UCLA.
Chip Kelley.
UCLA's playing them. Oklahoma.
Chip Kelly's going to show them a thing or two about some air raid.
They're going to Iowa State.
Beat down. Iowa State shell shocks their ass.
Again?
Army.
Again.
Hey, Army's a 10-win team.
They'll beat Army, but barely.
Okay.
Baylor.
They'll beat the shit out of Baylor.
There you go. Texas.
Loss. Close one, probably.
Week number 7 is going to be a tough one. Bye.
They'll probably pull a win out there.
Excellent. At least it'll be a tie at worst.
Yeah.
At TCU.
I don't know, man. Probably an L.
Kansas State plays them at home.
K-State rolls.
K-State rolls. In Norman. Yikes.
In Norman.
At Texas Tech. That's a heck of a road game right there.
They'll win that one on the road in a shootout.
How about against little brother?
Bedlam.
They'll get a win. Oklahoma State sucks.
Kansas is going to be seeking a revenge loss this year.
I'll give them that one. They'll get a win.
Yeah. Kansas is
6-6 maybe.
Yeah.
Kansas is going to shock the world on that one.
6-6 for Okie and 12-0 for Clemson. You said.
Don't listen to me right now.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
You're gonna save this, and I know you are. And I swear to God, if OU's 11-1 next year and their losses to home to fucking Kansas, oh my God.
That would be amazing. That would be the most amazing thing that could ever happen to me.
I would literally just say, I don't care what OU's done this season, they're not going to the fucking playoffs.
I've done some really, really nasty things with women in
Mark
bed,
the tape.
and it's still not going to be near as entertaining as if Oklahoma goes in undefeated and loses to Kansas. That would
Here would be the most interesting thing ever, too. That would have meant that Kansas, because they're not going to win any other Big 12 game next year, I don't think. If they beat OU. That means that in the last 3 years they won 2 Big 12 games, and one would have been against Texas and the other against Oklahoma. That would be unreal.
That would make them the pit of the Big 12, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Every 10 years, doesn't Kansas put together like a 10-win season?
Yeah, when they have Mangino.
Mangino.
They were stupid. They probably would have. They'd probably be a good program if they never got rid of Mangino. To be honest with you,
not to be confused with Chuck Mangione.
They won the Orange.
Is he the guy that played that? They play a
They
horn.
had Charlie Weiss for a second too, didn't they?
Weiss,
but they brought in Charlie Weiss, so you have to have like unreal talent to use Charlie Weiss's fucking unrealistic scheme. And they're just like, we'll try them at Kansas. Sounds like a plan to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just got steamrolled because obviously that shit doesn't work when you have the worst talent every time you step on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, and time. That is the very longest conversation we've ever had about Kansas on the show. Congratulations, guys.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep.
All right. We didn't.
Moving right along.
Oregon State.
No, in all seriousness, though, I do think Oklahoma will go 11-1. I don't know who they lose to, but they'll lose to somebody because they always find a way.
Lane.
They're definitely going to lose to Texas this year. I just got a feeling.
I don't think it'll be Texas, but I do. I think that the loss would be something weird like
Kansas.
Like Texas Tech, like Texas Tech or something like that.
I don't know. I'm smelling I don't know if it'd be an upset because I don't know where either team's going to be at that point in the season. But Oklahoma State, that was a very, very, very tough loss for them last year.
Yeah.
And that would have been a huge win for them.
Yeah, because it would have been. I mean, that was a playoff eliminating game. You could tell
it was.
The same team after that.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And so Dane, you're sticking
But,
with.
who they bringing though? I mean, what are they bringing in there? Are they bringing in like we don't know anything about Oklahoma State next year, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Their quarterback last year. What was his name again?
Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
They said he was the best quarterback in the draft this week. By the way.
That's what. Yeah, he declared himself.
Which I respect. I respect that confidence. I think that the best quarterback in the draft is Rosen, and then Mayfield's probably the second best.
God.
What, Dane?
What?
No.
Who?
Get the fuck out of here. Rosen? No way, dude.
I think it's hurt.
Have you
Oh
seen
wait, he's
that
not in the
kid?
draft.
No, not this year.
Play. He's on. His team sucks. Like that's not his fault. I mean, Rosen could have gone to somewhere else. Like,
Dude, just a couple of minutes ago, you said that UCLA's got a pretty good team.
they have talent. They didn't have a very good team. Talent and team is not the same.
No, I mean, they're in the Pac-12. Don't give them too much shit, Dane. Come on now.
Rosen's trash. I like Rudolph, probably Mayfield, and then whatever that guy's name at NC State is. I don't like any of the Pac-12 quarterbacks. They're garbage.
I think
not a Darnold fan.
No. I think this is going to be one of the craziest drafts for quarterbacks in a long time. I think we'll remember it for years.
Nobody should take any of these quarterbacks in the first round, in my opinion. But
Rosen and Darnold and Mayfield, I think, will all three have really great careers. Mason Rudolph with the chance, and then Luke Falk, I found out, played all season with an injury, which answered why he was so inconsistent to me this year. We'll find out if he can translate to the next level. I think he's got the talent. Depends on where he lands. Ultimately, it depends on where your guys land, because if your quarterback goes to the wrong place, it just doesn't work. And then the NFL is an unforgiving business now. You can't have a bad start to your career. It's over after 1 or 2 seasons if you suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Troy Aikman and Tom Brady wouldn't make it if they were drafted.
I don't know how to get him to do it.
Well, I
mean, none of those guys were Terry Bradshaw, but
yeah, you're right.
But you know what I'm saying, though. Like, they wouldn't have lasted. I mean, Brady wouldn't have had a job for 8 years with the numbers he put up in his first 8 seasons if he played now.
Terry Bradshaw had bad seasons early.
Yeah. I think we need to. Yeah, let's talk about Terry Bradshaw for a minute. Has anybody heard from him lately?
I mean, he yelled "Fly Eagles Fly," which I'm sure didn't go over well with the Pittsburgh Steelers faithful.
I mean, you know,
Terry Bradshaw would never yell out something controversial.
Never.
No, Terry Bradshaw is a fine, upstanding American citizen.
And he loves Nick Saban.
Huge Saban fan.
You know what else he loves? Doesn't he love like this thing? Wasn't there some sort of product that he loves where he has shingles or something?
Is he pushing a shingles medication?
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called.
Really? You know, I might have shingles.
You know what he probably has?
Well, I mean, in the future, not now.
Right.
I think that guy has CTE pretty bad.
Shingles is something to do with
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw would be one of those guys I would definitely cringe if I had to sit next to on a flight. Because you know he's just not going to shut up. He's just going to keep talking and he's going to start asking.
Talking, so I'd have a blast. And if it was fucking Terry Bradshaw, I'd enjoy it.
I don't know, to a point. I think after about like an hour and a half, though, and, you know, the in-flight movie is not playing right, so you still have to listen to this motherfucker keep talking about himself. I don't know. I've always got that vibe from him. Him and Frank Gifford.
I'd have the liquor flowing. Fuck that motherfucker.
He used to have
I was so drunk I passed out on his ass.
He used to hate Elway. He used to say,
who the fuck hates Elway?
He used to say, mark it down, Elway will never win a Super Bowl. And, of course, Elway finished his career winning back-to-backs.
Yeah.
But he hated Elway. I think he was scared that Elway might actually have enough talent to put together 4 Super Bowl wins because he was the only quarterback at that time that had 4 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
I bet he definitely hates Brady.
Oh, man.
So, it's too late to hate Brady at this point.
Yeah, you just kind of have to go with it.
Something you guys might find interesting about Nick Foles. I got a couple of them for you. One, I read an article about how he has the biggest dick of all of the players.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Do what?
All right, guys, I got to go. It's been
No, come back.
Dane's the one who shared it. That's how I found it.
Dane shared a picture of his
That's
dick.
why Dane wanted out of this conversation real quick.
About a dick, man. What the fuck?
Dude, it's cool, man. Go with it. It's 2018.
You want screenshots, my nigga?
Grandma!
Bradford. How do you like the new threads? Tough. I didn't know you were a Beatle fan, Grandma. Why, I'm the leader of the pack, baby. Dig these. The Beatles? Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. Oh, real gear, aren't they? They're bottles with Beetle inside. What's Beetle? The new personality bath. It's a real swinger. Mild, wild Beetle with an out-of-this-world fragrance. I got a split. Here, put a little personality in your bath. A bath in this mild, wild Beetle is really out of sight.
Race to your supermarket for the new pink personality bath. Beetle in the new Paul and Ringo
Actually,
Beetle.
I do. Yeah, you can.
Big Dick Nick.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to happen. All right, and the second thing about Nick Foles I find interesting, this one's actually serious, though. He hasn't qualified yet for the minimum because you have to have a minimum of 150 playoff attempts to be in the playoff record book.
Mm-hmm.
But Bart Starr, former Bama player,
yes,
currently holds the record for the best passer rating in a career in the playoffs at 104. Nick Foles, currently 120.
Oh, shit, he'll get it.
Yeah,
if he's efficient.
I honestly think that Nick Foles is way underrated, and I think he's proven that these last couple weeks. And I think that the Eagles will have a hell of a controversy after they win the Super Bowl.
No, there won't be any controversy. They'll trade that motherfucker.
Listen to me. I'm not saying that he's better than Wentz because that's just not the case. But if you win your only Super Bowl with the guy, do you honestly think your fan base is just going to be like, lit, man, we'll trade?
It doesn't matter what the fan base wants. The fucking general managers will trade that motherfucker.
Yeah, this isn't college football, guys. We're talking about big boy ball.
Philadelphia is different. Philadelphia, they don't do that in Philadelphia. They listen to their fans in Philadelphia. That's why Andy Reid's gone.
Well, I think they would be dumb to even allow any kind of controversy to develop there. Like,
if it was me, I
pick a guy and you go with him, and you definitely go with Wentz, right?
Well, that's what you would think, but I mean, we see a constant history of the go with the quarterback who got you there, even though you have a better one on the roster.
Let's ask Alabama fans how that works out.
Okay, go ahead.
Ask it again.
Go ahead.
Do you stick with the guy that gets you there, or do you go with the best fucking guy when you need the best?
No, you got to win the game.
You got to win the game. It's all about the W.
Listen, that's my opinion, but that's not what the NFL does. Look at what they do. Look at what they've done. I mean, you can't argue it. Look at Colin Kaepernick.
They go with the best guy.
Oh God, we're not going to talk about Colin Kaepernick again. That's been done.
I'm just bringing
through done. Examples, okay? That is a done subject.
I'm just bringing through examples. We're not going to
talk
about him. Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick. Alex Smith's better than Kaepernick. It was obvious then, and it's obvious now.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. Tony Romo's better than Dak Prescott. It was obvious then. It's even more obvious now.
Yeah.
I can continue to go to, let's see.
End of list.
No, that's not the end of list. I had quite a few of these. Together the other day.
You don't have to set on the timer where it cuts off at 55 minutes, do you?
Were you a Dan Marino guy or a Joe Montana guy, Doug? I think in that era you had to pick one.
I kind of liked Dan Marino because I lived in Florida back then. But Joe Montana, man, he was fucking awesome. He was one of those guys you did not want to get him to get the ball.
Yeah.
With less than a touchdown lead, with even 50 seconds left. 50 seconds, he would throw a 5-yard pass to Rice, and he would run 50 yards with it.
Yeah, Cincinnati fans are still cringing over that Super Bowl.
Yep. But that was that's what Joe Montana did.
But yeah, I mean, I could keep going. There's other examples. We'll see what the Vikings do with Keenum and Bradford. We'll see what that'll be an interesting one. We'll see what.
What about Bridgewater?
He's clearly not great, and I don't think that he suddenly became way better after being hurt for a year. But I mean, I hope he comes back stronger than ever. I would love that for him because that injury was brutal. But I don't think Bridgewater's really in the mix. I think that you saw that when they took Sam Bradford off IR and then deactivated Bridgewater for the last two playoff games that they had. So you can see their opinion. From what I've heard, their opinion is Bradford's their better quarterback, their best quarterback, which I think everyone knows that he's the most talented of the group. But it ultimately this offseason will ultimately come down to Will they go with who's better, or will they go with who people like? And, it's a real debate. I mean, and it's not like Keenum stunk. I mean, he wasn't.
I'd probably go with Keenum only because he's not prone to injury, and the other two guys are both on, like, peg legs. You know what I'm saying? Well, but I do agree that Bradford's the best of the three.
What I find really interesting when we talk about injuries, especially Bradford, is Bradford's had 3 serious injuries in his career. ACL twice, and then this injury this year. Aaron Rodgers has had now 2 major injuries. Roethlisberger's had several. Bradford kind of gets I know it's probably because he's a young quarterback. He's not really anymore. He's 30 now, but he was a young quarterback when a lot of this took place, and he had a back-to-back. But I don't get the feeling that people put really into context the injury situation in the NFL with quarterbacks fairly when they talk about Bradford. Because there's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that have had some injury issues. Bradford's not alone, and he only has high risk on his knee, which is supposed to be structurally fixed, which means the likeliness of re-injury is really low. But I totally get you don't want to take a risk on a guy who's hurt, but the teams are going to evaluate and say what do doctors think, not what fans think on an injury. I would imagine. I would hope so anyway, right?
Well, guys,
you would think, yeah.
Before we end this, and we haven't talked about this at all tonight, and I know it's coming up in 2 weeks, but do we have any predictions on the Super Bowl?
I got Philadelphia winning by a fairly wide margin.
Wow.
Like 21.
Wow.
Interesting.
I think the roster is just that much better than the New England roster. I think it's a long shot. Now the Jags roster was better too, and I wouldn't make a bet on it because listen, I'm not going to bet against the team that clearly has the officials in their court. It's just not smart. And also Brady.
Well, that was kind of where I was fixing to go with all this.
There's no way. I watched it. There's no way to deny it. I saw it happen with my own eye.
Did you see the ref celebrating with New England when they scored?
Yeah, I don't think that's that big of a deal, but I do think it was a big deal whenever
it's not that big of a deal.
Away a touchdown.
I mean, it was just a high five. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was just a hey, way to go, guy,
and a thumbs up over to the sideline.
Yeah, appreciate that tip.
Dane, do you have any opinion, or you don't really like the NFL, do you?
Yeah, fuck the NFL. But I'm going with the Eagles. I think it'll be close, but I agree with Mr. Sooner here.
All right.
They've got the better roster only because the Patriots are so depleted with injuries. How many guys are they missing off of their roster?
They're missing quite a few. They're missing 2 major ones, Donta Hightower and Edelman. Gronk's supposedly going to play.
I think that the Eagles are just probably a hair too deep for the Pats to cover everybody. And
Nick Foles isn't.
And Foles. I think Foles is the wild card.
All right.
If Foles plays well, I really don't know how New England can win. But I will say this: if the Patriots win, I don't want to hear about defense wins championships again.
Yeah, you don't know how Patriots are going to win. Did you see the playoff game the other day? Oh yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah.
I'm just saying. If
refs are on the take, dude.
And I'm not hating on the Patriots.
You are.
I think it's stacked. It's stacked against them.
You are. That's hate.
This roster's
hate.
That's pure hate.
Hate.
I don't have no hate. But I will say,
hateful.
If they win offense, I don't want to hear about.
Have you been listening to Timothy? How hateful he is?
He's pretty hateful. Hate.
The most hate I've seen.
Like hate.
This is the most hate. I mean, in 17 he was a real happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah, and now he's
now
just
it's
bitter.
Turned very hateful.
Yeah, he's bitter. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Oh, we had the mics on. Oh, okay. Well, guys, we're gonna dump this call now. So fuck both y'all. And
hear that lonesome whippoorwill. He sounds too blue to cry. The midnight train is winding low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. I've never seen a night face and cry. When leaves begin to die, that means he's lost the will to live. I'm so lonesome I could cry. The silence of the falling star lights up the purple sky, and as I wonder where you are, I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Easterwood.
Hey, I'm actually with my girlfriend since we're not live on last. Y'all are all Bama fans, right? She's hardcore Alabama.
Oh, you're with a Bammer?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is this Doug or Shannon?
This is Shannon.
Oh, Shannon, what up, dude? Yeah, my girlfriend's a hardcore Alabama fan, bro. I went to the Sugar Bowl with her.
Really? How was that?
Say Roll Tide to her.
Roll Tide.
What's up, homie?
So you're a Bama fan?
Oh yeah, hardcore.
He's a booster.
All right.
I'm a trustee.
Yeah.
All she does is talk shit.
No, we can talk Alabama football all day.
Oh, we're going to here in just a moment.
Anyway, yeah, I had to introduce you, let y'all know this Auburn guy's with the Bama girl. So what can I say?
Okay, yeah, stepping up. I like that. She's got all her teeth and everything.
Y'all do it right in Tuscaloosa in a lot of different ways.
Oh yeah. Well, now where's she from?
We're both from near Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, you're north of us. What Madison County?
Yeah, well, Madison County. We're actually.
Man, the police up there don't fuck around in Madison County.
Right now,
ain't that where?
Decatur, man. We played at the cornfield there. Remember that Rampant Speed?
Madison
no, not
County.
Rampant Speed.
Isn't that where they drove through on My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah.
No, that was somewhere else, man.
Yeah, we're from Rolanda McClain.
Oh yeah.
Alabama football player ever.
Yeah, that motherfucker's badass.
There's a Rolando McClain Boulevard up there, isn't there?
Dude, he has so much. He had so many houses in Decatur. He threw all that shit away for some fucking weed and codeine.
Yeah, it works out like that sometimes.
Is he the one that burned one of his houses down?
Yeah, he's a fucking retard, dude. I knew him like I can only say this not as an Auburn fan, but as just like a guy that knew him. He was a fucking moron. He couldn't get away from his friends, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, that happens with a lot of them. And, just kind of off the record, I mean, black culture is really kind of funny with that sort of thing. Because when you become successful in any shape, form, or fashion, then you're supposed to dump it back into the neighborhood, and you're supposed to do this, and there's all these.
And that's what he did.
I hate to say it, but there's separate rules that black folks set up for black folks in their own community that kind of hamstring them right out of the gate. And there's a lot of player hate.
It's like, you got money, it's time for me to get my share.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that Charles Barkley, as pro-black of a fella as he is on camera, he really is not about a lot of the people from his old neighborhood. Yeah, he lives down 280.
Hey, man, I love Sir Charles. We can't talk about Sir Charles negatively.
Oh, I love Sir Charles. I actually got a chance to meet him once at a gas station off 280. I think he was headed to...
I rode in a cab with him when he was blackout drunk on his way to supper club.
Oh, I bet that was hilarious.
Man, he's so badass and he's so rich. He just threw hundreds at the cab.
Oh yeah, man. He don't give a fuck. He is paid like a motherfucker. But at the same time, though, I mean, he's still, when he's not out partying and blowing it out, I mean, he's still a respectable dude,
Yeah, oh yeah, real respectable, man.
Yeah.
Oh to God, yeah. The money he gives, that's kind of like what I tell people about Nick Saban with Nick's kids and all the good charities he does. I mean, it's just it's unreal how much our coaches and some of our former players really give back to the community.
Oh, absolutely.
Could you guys ever see when Sir Charles interviewed Saban?
Actually, I did. I watched that over the weekend. It's funny you bring that up. That was a good interview too.
It was.
And you could tell that they kind of had an off-camera rapport. That
They
each
actually
other for a while.
swapped shirts
Yeah.
with each other.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. Saban looked like he wanted to beat Charles Barkley's ass for an Auburn shirt.
So what you drinking on tonight?
I'm a Four Locos right now.
Oh, not the Four Locos. Jesus Christ, man.
Getting beat
God,
down and dirty.
You took me back to when I was 22. I'd scarf a few of those down and go keep it real somewhere.
Hey man, you got to drink what you got to drink.
I guess. Well, no, I haven't had a drink in almost 3 years now.
Oh, that is true. You told me that.
No, it's totally cool. I get absolutely retarded when I get drunk. Doug is living witness of a good portion of those.
No, I
heard that, man.
I haven't drank in a few days.
I have, but I do not usually. So I'm usually pretty good.
So that's why I don't drink, because when I drank every night. I drank till I blacked out every night, and then did crazy shit.
Shannon commits. Whatever Shannon does, he commits to it.
Yeah. I go balls deep.
Hey, my girl actually wants to ask y'all something. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hey, so I actually know about football and all the positions and shit like that. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan, but I was just curious, what's your opinion on Tua and next season?
Didn't we talk about this on the last episode? I think we did.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing about that championship game as an Alabama fan was watching Jalen Hurts probably lose his job come next spring. At the same time, we know that Saban's going to give all of his quarterbacks an equal chance, and there's always, no matter how entrenched they are in what's going on, if Jalen comes, because Jalen has been a great game manager.
Exactly.
Let the Auburn fans say this. She's going to get mad during this whole time every time I talk to someone. But as an Auburn fan, let me tell you this: I've always said it. Jalen Hurts was not going to win y'all a national championship.
Man.
And I was right.
And yeah, he definitely did not.
And I did not think he was that. I didn't see it in him, man.
Because he couldn't do it with his arm.
He couldn't do it with his arm, man.
And Alabama got put into a situation where Alabama was going to have to pass, or they were going to get blown out.
Now, what do you think about the rumors that Tua was actually going to, if Tua wasn't put in that game, that he was going to transfer the next season? Do you really is there any weight to that?
Bullshit.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that's horseshit myself.
I'm not sure. I don't know where the rumor comes from.
I don't think he would have. I mean, here's my thing. Here's why I don't think Jalen's going to transfer, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I told this to a Bama fan the other day. Alabama's program is so prestigious right now. Just being associated with it.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait.
A leader.
Hey, Eric.
I'm just being honest. This is honesty. This isn't.
Well, hey, before you say that though, did your girlfriend have a smartphone? Why don't we throw her on the conversation? Put her on her phone real quick, and we can let's do that.
We got to know her.
She's got an Android. Does that matter?
Yeah. Does she have Hangouts?
No, you don't have Hangouts, do you?
What is that? WhatsApp?
It's an app. No, it's not WhatsApp. It's Hangouts. It's Google Hangouts.
Just pull up Google on her phone, and then
it should have Hangouts in there.
She should already have Hangouts loaded in her phone if it's an Android. Yeah, it's a little green.
Man. She'll talk about football all day.
Yeah, throw her on.
No, let me ask you something. So, how you said that Jalen Hurts is a game manager?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's played with poise. He has the respect of all the players. He's the shit,
Yeah.
So, let's just say Tua is going to be the quarterback next year. I do not think that Jalen Hurts is going to transfer. I feel like they will either put him as a safety or a running back or some. I just don't see him.
I think you got to put him on offense.
Yeah, you definitely need to put him in an offensive position.
I would put him at wide receiver.
Yeah, because there actually were a few people that had suggested, possibly put him in the mix on the defense, with his athleticism and
you
his
might
size.
see him on special teams.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up, I gotta ask y'all a question. I saw y'all debating this shit earlier, and I had to ask y'all this some real talk between us. Washington over Auburn, really?
Who said that?
I thought Shannon said, was it
Yeah,
Shannon?
he
or
may
Doug?
have.
I thought one of y'all said Washington over Auburn.
No, all I did was suggest that if Auburn didn't beat Washington, which I don't, Where's that game being held? That's a neutral site game.
That's gonna be all Auburn.
Is that Arlington?
You've been to Atlanta. That's gonna be all Auburn.
Oh, is it Atlanta?
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. That'll be 90% Auburn fans, 10% Washington.
Yeah. I don't think Washington comes to Atlanta and beats Auburn.
I really don't. Smacking Off invites you to join us on the podcast. If you have an opinion on an upcoming game, some commentary on your conference, or want to roll with one of your fellow smackers on air, hit us up. You can message us at the Smacking Off or X's and O's Facebook pages, email me at maddenshannon@toothfairy.com, or call us on the Smack Line, 304-508-BAIT. And as always, fuck your team.
And here is G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip. G.I. Joe has hands that grip. Fingers you hold open and let close. Hands that hold on with a Kung Fu Grip. The grip you help Joe use in self-defense. G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip. The hands
I say this girl literally told these Clemson fans to fuck off for 2 straight quarters, bro. I've never seen a girl talk this much shit.
I don't know.
Because they were talking so much shit about our secondary, saying that their little quarterback was going to throw all over us, blah, blah, blah.
They had forgot. Well, I mean, to be fair, they forgot Deshaun Watson was not their quarterback anymore. I think that's what that was.
Yeah, exactly.
Kelly Bryant sucks cock. I knew that.
When was that supposed to happen? I mean, when did they say this? In the first half?
No, they said it all before the game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, no. They were
Hindsight's 50-50.
They were talking match.
Well, I mean, that's what they're supposed to do.
But I'm not gonna
Clemson
lie,
fans are pretty salty.
Taking away from that, man, Mr. Sphere was awesome. Awesome. Really cool. My first ever playoff game. I don't know if y'all been to one.
I have not been to one yet. These days, I can't afford one. You pretty much have to mortgage your house to
I
get
got
one.
lucky. I got lucky. I went for free, thank God.
Oh, you gotta love that.
That's the only reason I wore the Bama shirt, bro. You pay $800 for my ticket. Hell, I wear the Devil shirt. I don't give a damn.
I'll wear titties.
Yeah, you feel me? New Orleans.
I'll dress up like a
Perfect.
bitch for an $800 playoff ticket. Come on now.
Yeah, you fucking kidding me, man? I don't care who's playing. I don't care if it's fucking Washington, Idaho. Give me an $800 ticket and I'll go watch the playoff game. That's badass.
Well, you brought up the Washington game a little while ago, and let's talk about that game.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man.
We're gonna have a completely way too early Auburn prognostication from our dear friend Mr. Eric Easterwood.
Anyways, what I was saying, man, Jared Stidham, man, just not sold, dude. Like 1 minute he's out there fucking throwing on Alabama like he's about to go first round of the NFL draft, then he goes and plays fucking Georgia. And it's like,
yeah, I know he's throwing like a second-rate Big 12 quarterback. I mean,
yeah,
wait a
dude,
minute.
It's just his shit let me down, man. Yeah, he was a disappointment to me this season. Everybody was all hyped on him, man. He did so good. I'm like, what?
Well,
in my opinion, and y'all might call me crazy, I think our sophomore receivers are pretty damn talented, and I think they made him look a lot better than he actually was. First of all,
perhaps, and one other thing too is that I don't know, is it Stidham's ability to not be able to scramble out of the pocket? I mean, yeah, he was sacked. He was sacked quite a bit this year.
Lost us the game.
And
all momentum. We're about to go up 10-0.
And you can only blame so much of that on the offensive line. I mean,
5 seconds.
Yeah,
easily.
And that's and again, I don't know. Maybe this is, and that's kind of what I was hinting around about. Maybe this is an indication of a Big 12 style of play versus SEC style of play, and the fact that he just hasn't been able to make that transition.
Well, I mean, you look at what's his name, quarterback for Texas A&M last year.
Trevor Knight.
Yeah.
Trevor Knight. Yeah. Look at how he did Oklahoma. Look how he did A&M.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma, he was able to put a few things together.
I mean, Oklahoma had that Sugar Bowl against Alabama.
Yeah.
Before then, he hadn't really done anything, had he?
Well, let me ask you this, you're an Alabama fan. What's the real true test in college football for a quarterback? Yeah. The Alabama secondary.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
But
and Baker never got to face him too. That was that. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. It was a little disappointing as an Alabama fan not to be able to face Oklahoma. And also in the same token, I don't know if we had faced Baker, how that game would have looked. I think it would have looked a lot like the Oklahoma-Georgia game, to be honest.
Let me say this. I wanted Georgia to go, and I wanted y'all to beat Georgia because that's Georgia football. We were almost champions, but yet we're not.
Yeah.
That's Georgia. That will forever be Georgia football. So, to me, it was hilarious. But,
well,
I mean, you're saying Oklahoma, Alabama would have been a phenomenal.
But I mean, you know, with the new playoff system, for just two SEC teams to get in at all was kind of incredible. But the fact it was actually Georgia, and Georgia actually climbed to that upper echelon, I don't know. I mean, maybe Kirby is the X factor that Georgia's been missing this whole time because.
But how much is that him or is he sweet, man? I mean,
well, Rick wouldn't have got him there because
South
I mean,
Carolina.
you know, look down south. I mean, Rick had a inside chance to take Miami to the playoffs, and I mean, just blew it in the end in Rick's fashion.
But so did Kirby Smart. He blew it in the end.
But Kirby Smart got to the damn national championship game, and what I'm proposing
right
is
now,
that Mark Richt
has more
would
Kirby
not.
Smart does. He has 2 SEC championship rings.
Yeah, but he would not. But what I'm saying is Mark Richt would not have taken the squad to the playoffs. I don't see it. I really don't. He had plenty of chances to do it, and these were mostly his players playing.
Successful in the SEC.
Yeah, but I don't know. I agree and I disagree at the same time. I don't know. This was a pretty talented Georgia team.
It really was, and I'm not taking anything away from that aspect. And you know, this is something that I've talked about a lot on the show, as far as the coach's ability, because you can have 4 or 5 stars all day long. It's your ability to develop them into players playing on this level.
I completely agree.
And you know, I honestly think that's Kirby Smart is going to be that X factor. Now, do they return next year? I don't know. We were talking about it off air. Probably not. I think you're going to see a little bit of a drop off, but I don't expect much. I really don't.
Hey, I was arguing with somebody that is Dan Mullen, man. We were talking about Dan earlier.
I think Dan's going to do all right. I do realize what you're saying is true. They
did nothing at Mississippi State.
You're right.
Nothing.
But then again, it is Mississippi State. I mean, Mississippi State is a program where nothing happens.
Well, I mean, he won at Mississippi State. He just didn't win those games that he needed to win to take them to the next level. He never did win them.
Yeah.
But I think Florida's a different ball game because I think his roster is. I mean, I think Florida is head and shoulders above Mississippi State in resources.
Oh, as far as a program, absolutely.
In resources and tradition.
Yeah, and money.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get down to it. There's a lot of money down at the University of Florida.
So anyway, but if he does, if he beats nobody this year. If he has a year where he beats all the teams he's supposed to and beats nobody he's not supposed to, then I'll agree with Eric. But I think he'll knock somebody off this year. Somebody.
Interesting.
But here's my thing with Dan Mullen. Mississippi State was getting just as much money as Florida was every time Alabama, Auburn, and LSU won a national championship. They had the money.
They definitely get the same share. But as far as boosters and deep pocket, I mean, as far as resources go, Florida's got them beat by a mile.
I mean, yeah, but Mississippi State had their chance, man. They had freaking Dak Prescott and couldn't win a fucking SEC championship.
This is true.
They did put one on Auburn that year.
You know what I mean?
Man, I don't know. Shoulda, coulda, woulda at that point. You know, we'll see how he does.
Y'all beat their ass, and that's my point on Dan Mullen.
Who's the best coach in college football right now?
Oh, right now. I mean, if you're gonna make me say it, I'll say it. But
go ahead.
I mean, you have to say Nick Saban.
Right. How did he look against Georgia in the national championship game when he had Jalen Hurts under center?
Let me put it this way: moving Tua to quarterback and taking out Jalen Hurts was one of the smartest moves I've ever seen a coach make mid football game.
But before he did that, what was Nick Saban looking like for keeping Jalen Hurts in the game for the first half?
I think he looked like somebody didn't want to stick with his original game plan and stick with the man that got him there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and was getting his ass handed to him in the process.
Could have got blown out in that game. Do you agree?
It could have. Yeah. But you didn't.
A complete. We could have suffered a complete shutout.
But that's where players can make a difference. And if you got more players at a place, you're going to look like a better coach.
here's another thing, man, and you would have had, and y'all probably have as well. You had to play football, I understand this, but the mentality y'all have in Tuscaloosa, 13 points is nothing.
No, I realize
Alabama deficit.
Yeah, I was still okay when we were in the second half. I still felt okay about our chances to somehow eke out a win. I was a little shaky, but at the same time, it was still manageable, and our defense was still clicking. Like
I thought there was a chance if Tua went in. I didn't think that there was any chance
Your
whatsoever.
Team they won't quit.
Yeah,
but you keep Jalen in that game, and it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, y'all lose. There's no doubt.
And he was rattled at that point.
I don't even think Alabama pulls within 7 with Jalen in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, hell, got to call him the GOAT. What a brilliant move.
Yeah, I mean that's what the guy does. That's what we pay him the big money for. Now, speaking of big money, because I'm sorry, this conversation cannot cease until we talk about the $49 million question. They're going down there. Do you really think that?
Let me just say this: Jay Jacobs is on his way out, and I literally just think he just said "fuck it."
Right there was a jab. He was throwing a jab to the university
and the fan base. Because man, I was there after that LSU
I
loss.
love being Alabama. It's so much fun.
After
lose,
and of course, I mean, Auburn fan lives for nothing else more. Because that's about
that's
about all they're going to get.
What you're saying, but not this particular Auburn fan. This particular Auburn fan would like to see a trophy.
Can I see if I can get an agreement on this now? Do you think it helped Alabama or hurt Alabama in the national championship scheme to lose to Auburn?
I think it motivated you.
It did motivate, but you know what else it did? It took our season from a 15-game season to a 14-game season.
That is true.
And that was probably
extra bye week.
That was probably the most valuable gift that we could have ever been given, because had we played the SEC championship, win or lose, that would have been an extremely physical game, and I think you can agree on that.
Against Georgia.
Yes.
Potential rematch.
Right. So even if Alabama beats Auburn and then beats Georgia, there's a chance that they're going to go down in one of those 2 playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the dynamics.
I saw y'all play Clemson. Clemson didn't have a chance in hell.
Okay, well,
they didn't, but at the same time, that was, I mean, Syracuse exposed Clemson early in the season. I mean, Clemson was a beatable team.
It was pathetic, man.
Here's something to think about. Who are the playoff teams if Alabama beats Auburn and then beats Georgia? Alabama's in, Clemson's in, Oklahoma's still going to be in. Wisconsin? No. Ohio State would have been in. So that changes everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Bama would have had a chance against Ohio State.
Ohio State would have looked just like
that
Clemson.
Dumbass,
Come on, man.
And it pissed me off. And my stance being an Auburn fan, but it pissed me off. And they were like, Ohio State needs to be in over Alabama. A 30-point fucking loss to Iowa.
Ohio State lost it.
Not only that, but even though the score didn't indicate how lopsided that loss to Oklahoma was, they got and again. But I'm talking about the Oklahoma game earlier on. At home too. That was a demoralizing loss. That really was. Oklahoma they were on fire on both sides of the ball. Their defense looked good. Fucking Oklahoma's defense looked good.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm gonna miss Baker Mayfield.
He's a shit starter. I like him or not.
You gotta give respect. Respect is though. He backs his shit up.
Like him or not, he threw for a shit ton of yards. And he also threw again. Everybody made the argument about the shitty defenses, but I mean, he lit it up against Georgia. One of the best.
He didn't lose Georgia game. His damn defense did.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, but
Big 12 defense though. That's why
he's going to rip it up in the NFL. I expect he's going to do good things. I really do. If he can keep level-headed, some of the problems that he's had. Young guy in college, getting drunk, running from the police, things like that. If he'll settle that shit down and doesn't Manziel it up as soon as he gets his big fat contract. He should do fine. He really should. He needs to get with some good people. Probably needs to work very closely with a PR firm. And again, probably the same PR firm that
and don't grab your nuts in front of people. That's the number one thing they need tell them, do not grab your nuts on live TV.
They might work in the NFL.
There is a time and a place to grab your nuts, and just when you're playing one of the shittiest teams in your league, there's no sense.
And beating the shit out of them like you're expecting
And look,
to.
and bear in mind, I know that Kansas was giving them all sorts of shit throughout the whole entire game and talking shit
Which
with
is
him.
kind of
This,
funny,
that,
to
and
be
the other.
honest with you. I guess if you know you're going to get the fuck beat out of you, you might as well just talk shit. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I would
Sounds kind of
definitely
stupid,
do it.
doesn't it?
It's just like, fuck it, man. I'm going to lose. Fuck you and your team.
That's exactly right, man. Fuck you, fuck your mama, fuck your mama's dog. I mean,
Fuck
seriously,
yeah,
get
dude.
nasty about it. Get rude
Yeah,
and raw
fuck that
about it,
shit.
and I'm gonna bend you over after this game, and I mean the whole bit, man.
It would have looked better though on Baker if he just smiled and.
Yeah,
just
that's
kicked
what
her
I'm
ass.
saying. Or just give him a quick finger, or I got your, whatever. But instead of him going off in this tirade and fuck you, and I mean he was genuinely upset, very, very visibly upset on the sideline. And you know how this shit works, man. You get mad, you lose.
Against Kansas.
There's
not a team. Tennessee would beat Kansas by 60
UAB
points.
would beat Kansas.
Yeah, UAB. Troy would beat Kansas. Well, they beat LSU.
Well, they beat LSU. Come on now.
That's
Troy's coming
I
up.
say Troy. Troy's apparently state champions now.
Yeah, they would have
Better
been.
than all of us.
Well, they would have been if they got that big old shiny trophy.
You need to tell your girlfriend she's our first female guest.
She is.
You're
Our
first
very
female guest on the show.
Yes.
So she wants to join in. Here she is.
yeah. Need to put her on.
Hello.
Ashton, how are you this evening?
I'm great. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. So let me. We got to get a little background here. How did you meet Eric?
Well, we went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
and we reconnected recently.
So y'all known each other for a good long while.
Yeah.
Okay,
Talk about
cool.
the bake the cake in 2007.
Oh no, this is actually the story. We had an art class together,
Mhm.
and the Iron Bowl was coming up, and we made a bet. And I was, I'm like, fuck Auburn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, if y'all beat us, then I'll bake you a cake. Well,
It was 6 in a row.
that year we fucking lost, so I had to bake him a cake.
Aw. What kind of cake
But
was
that-
it?
Love at first sight. Fuck Alabama.
So why didn't y'all hook up then? Just y'all were kind of in different places, or?
No, he said,
She was in a different spot in her life. Let's just put it that way.
that's not what you told me.
Oh, drama. Come on now.
I gotta ask him.
Oh man.
She's got to ask something.
She's got to ask something.
Hey, this is Ashton again.
Hey.
So, why do y'all not have faith in Jalen? I'm just curious.
It's not that I don't have faith in him, but you watch the second half of that game. I mean, there were two completely different styles of play there. Jalen is a wonderful game manager, and I think Jalen. Everybody keeps talking about Jalen's not going to be a good NFL quarterback. Who gives a damn? He is going to be an excellent head coach. I honestly believe that Jalen Hurts will be. He'll be in a Power 5 program at some point in time as either an OC, a quarterback's coach, or possibly a head coach in the next 15 years. I honestly believe that.
I would agree with that.
I think if Bama can impose their will on the ground, then Jalen's a great quarterback.
Mhm.
But any team that can stop Bama's run and put Jalen in check and
contain
make
it.
him beat
Yeah.
you through the air, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Or if you have an opposing
which is
team.
why we did not want to play Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, or if you have it, like what I was fixing to say, if you have an opposing team who has a quarterback that's mobile and is lighting the scoreboard up, like what we saw in the national championship the year before with Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Mr. Deshaun Watson, yeah. That guy.
Well, sorry, Eric wants to get back on here, but I have to ask you one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
I swear, last year, did Jalen not throw the ball better than he did this year?
He absolutely did.
At times.
At
And why
times
is
he
that?
did.
Is that like mental?
Coordinator change.
Well, part of it was the offensive coordinator change, and part of it was, Jalen getting a little bit more comfortable airing it out. But the problem is he still had the yips pretty much the whole entire season. There was all of these great passes. They had great form, but the ball just had a little bit too much of a wobble on the end of it. Was overthrown just a little bit. There just wasn't that touch there that Tua was grabbing the rock and almost like semi-consciously throwing it in one direction and it just landing perfectly exactly where it's supposed to be. And that's what wins SEC games now. SEC, old school SEC football used to be pretty much smash mouth. You'd have short screen passes here and there. You'd have that one big bomb for the game, but for the most of the offensive production was just grinded out, run 3 yards, 2 yards, all in the whole entire game. And the level of play has changed completely.
Hey, Kim, what you doing? We're having a tea party. Look him under the Ronald McDonald. I've got one, too. Ronald and I are going to put on a show for Mom and Dad.
You can have your own little Ronald McDonald to play with, talk to, have fun with. Take with you wherever you go. Now, while supplies last, little Ronald McDonald at McDonald's.
I think it's partly because you have a lot more all of the teams now, because of the way communication and travel and things like that. You have a lot of schools that are recruiting in other parts of the country that they normally didn't recruit in, and it's not just for the big boy programs. It used to be just the big boy programs could afford to actually travel to other places and this, that, and the other. But all of these different programs now have pretty much the same level playing field as far as accessibility to these players that are playing in all these different schemes and styles all over the country. So I don't know. I think that lends a little bit to that, and I think that's why you've seen more emphasis on, and particularly in SEC football, on the quarterback and on the quarterback's ability to air it out.
So let's do an early preview for y'all, man. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get disappointed by Louisville pulling off the upset. So.
I don't know. Are you
kidding me, man? Out of all the teams, you couldn't give me any form of hope. You have to play fucking Louisville.
Well, and Doug had even said this off air. That we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed that Louisville will have a decent season this year. Just so we don't have to hear the usual about playing a bunch of cupcakes.
Dude, they have Lamar Jackson and can barely win 8 games.
Yeah,
how fucking horrible are you?
Well, again, because it's great to have a great quarterback, but even Oklahoma, showed us that in the
sometimes
game
it kills
Georgia.
the team thing. It just
you can't put the whole entire game on one guy. You just can't do that.
See Tennessee 1990.
Y'all are gonna fucking sodomize Louisville, though, man. They're gonna want to play football for the rest of the season.
See Tennessee 1997 with
Jesus
with Peyton Manning,
yes.
and they couldn't win the national championship with Peyton Manning, and then next year, T. Martin comes in.
T. Martin did it. Yeah.
Very very average, just a game manager kind of quarterback, and the
Which,
team.
by the way, I thought was kind of funny. He was practically begging to come back to Knoxville, and they wouldn't even give him a shot.
Yeah,
bastards. Getting enough attention, man. Philip Fulmer fucked that AD over, dude.
I hate Philip Fulmer with every fiber of my being. I'm going to spend the next 10 seconds talking about it. He is a fat piece of shit. Oh, God, my anger. Serenity now. Okay, guys. All right, we're back. Now, look, we're not talking about Phil Fulmer anymore, by the way.
We just got to bring it up though. Like, he is a shitbag.
He is the biggest piece of shit in college football ever. In the modern history of college football, he is the worst ever. I do not have enough middle fingers for Phil Fulmer.
Hey, I take great pleasure in the fact that we kept him.
Excellent. I don't know. And again, I said this on the thread earlier, and I've said this in a few conversations, that I really think Tennessee is going to be a good barometer for some of these top level SEC programs, because they play Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia.
Man, all at the same time.
Yeah,
dude.
that's going to be a heck of a stretch.
Corner, bro.
If they win,
one
one of those games, though, if they could just win one of those games, that'll pretty much make every Vol fan's year.
Dude, if Tennessee ever beats Alabama, I just want to say half the state's going to commit suicide, and the state of Tennessee may burn down in celebration. Like, I don't even want to fathom what the fuck would happen if Tennessee found a way to beat Alabama football. Like, yeah, not only are they the shittiest fans I've ever been around in my life. Like, I've been to every SEC campus for games. Y'all know that. Tennessee fans, fucking horrible. Horrible fan base.
Yeah, I always figured that. Of course, my league
fans, dude. I tailgate with y'all all day. Get fucked up with y'all. Go to the game with y'all. Have a great time.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we don't really mean that shit. I mean, we automatically know pretty much from the moment that an Alabama fan is born that we're significantly better than Auburn. So, I mean, you know, and once you deal with that during childhood, then you can just pretty much, you know, kind of.
So are you happy?
I loved y'all's ability to get snaps off in the Iron Bowl this year. It was quite incredible.
Yeah, it was definitely a sight to behold.
They were taking a break, man.
Yeah, you couldn't get off on a field.
They were
goal.
winded.
Get off
Yeah.
twice on fourth down.
Saban said we're just going to set this game out and we'll let Auburn go play Georgia.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna sneak in the fourth spot.
Yeah. Hey, worst case scenario, we're playing the Peach Bowl, guys.
Oh fuck! Goddamn it, the Peach Bowl, dude! I knew as soon as they said UCF and the Peach Bowl.
You know what? We have not talked about the Peach Bowl. We have not brought the Peach Bowl up this whole entire conversation.
Well, let's talk some Peach Bowl.
I think that's a good idea.
Can I be honest with y'all? I'm just gonna be real. I have not watched it. I was in Bourbon Street with Bama fans, blackout drunk, and I refused to watch it. So I'm just gonna have to go off by what y'all say because I can't watch Auburn lose the UCF. That's fucking embarrassing.
I will have to say that's probably one of the smartest decisions you've made in quite a while.
If you if you want to watch Gus's bowl wins, you'd be stuck with watching the Memphis game.
Watching him play Memphis.
And again, going back to, is that worth $49 million?
Well, hey man, I don't make the contracts. That's all I can say, man.
Yeah, but you got something to do with it.
How did you, as a fan, feel when you heard about that? How did you, as an Auburn fan, feel about that?
Let me tell you. Immediately after the Alabama win, as SEC West champions, headed to Atlanta, nobody thought we were going to do it. I would have been like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's great. He's done a great job. Nobody thought he was going to do it after LSU. You didn't think it. I didn't think it. Who the fuck would have thought it? You know what I'm saying?
I knew Auburn had the right games.
Yes.
They had the right games to get into
the fucking SEC championship and laid one of the worst eggs I've ever seen laid in a championship game. No, don't give the motherfucker $40 million. Let him go to Arkansas.
They gave him the $40 million after the SEC championship game, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And before the Peach Bowl.
That was Jacob's way of. That was Jacob throwing a last jab. Yeah. He says, "Here, Auburn. Here you go. 7 years."
Hey, thanks for beating Alabama and Georgia, but hey, thanks for getting raped by Georgia and costing us a playoff appearance. Here's $40 million for sucking ass.
I mean, you know, look, if they wanted to give him like a 2-year extension, I would have been with that. But of course, we all knew that wasn't going to happen because Arkansas was already up his ass, already had pretty much a contract drawn up, and he looked at that contract and said, "Let me get back with you," and went over and was able to negotiate with Auburn because, and again, you know, look, I know I've given the Auburn University a bunch of shit for this contract or for this contract extension. But then again, you look at the landscape and who else was Auburn going to hire?
Well, you look at that. I mean, let's just be real, guys. Who else is beating Nick Saban right now?
He's fixing to hire the last guy that was beating him on a regular basis. Hugh
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's just be real. I mean, who the fuck else is doing it?
Yeah,
who's doing it in the fashion that it happened this season?
Nobody.
Mm-hmm. So I guess to some Auburn fans, and I'm just being the devil's advocate. I'm not saying I support this. To some Auburn fans, it's like, fuck yeah, if he can beat the shit on Nick Saban, give him $40 million.
Every third or fourth year.
And again, that's why I keep coming back to it. I just don't see where that win was worth 7 years and $49 million because really that win.
You're preaching to this choir.
Wasn't just that win; it was also the win against Georgia too. The week previous. So
I think so. I think beat 2 number ones, and that was unprecedented. Let's be real. That was unprecedented. Mm-hmm. Unprecedented. I can't get the damn word out.
Well,
unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
No,
I like that.
Yeah.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented Trump.
Yeah.
I try to get that shit out.
Hey, you leave him out of this. That's a great man. We got to talk to Ashton one more time before we wrap this up.
All right. Yes, you want to talk to y'all so bad too.
Yeah.
I just have something to say.
Ashton, I have something to say before you get started. You are our very first female that we've ever had on the show, and I really, really, really appreciate you contributing tonight.
Of course.
Can we have you on solo one night where we put Eric off in the background and he's screaming, let me talk, and you say, hang on 1 second. Can we do that?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. I like that. We will definitely be in touch with you. Friend us on Facebook. Eric knows how to get in touch with us.
Yeah,
okay.
Eric said
now
he'll show me how to do it.
Now you gotta get your point across. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
All I was going to say was, you heard how earlier Eric was saying he didn't know about Jarrett Stidham, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But was he not, what was it, like 12 for 15, 13 for 15 on third down conversions?
Against Alabama.
Compared to our Jalen Hurts had like what, 2 for 15?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
hell, Stephen Garcia had the hell of a game against Alabama. Should we
just Eric? I'm talking this time.
She's talking this time.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I was saying was, like, regardless of our injuries, because like I'm not gonna make excuses. I felt like we got outplayed, and like Jarrett Stidham played a big role in that. Like, he threw perfect passes where you can't really teach that, you know? It's just athleticism.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Like, perfect game.
And
you have to play perfect to beat Bama, and you have to throw the ball to beat Bama.
Carry on had a big
we ran on y'all. Carry on Johnson had over 126 yards.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen against Alabama very often at all.
Tell them I said that.
We heard you.
They hear you. Yeah. They hear you. They're talking. I'm sorry, guys.
Y'all are a cute. Y'all are a cute couple. I like this.
I hate Auburn.
I don't blame you.
Well, that's going to be our next segment with you. The I Hate Auburn segment.
Yeah, we do a lot of those.
Please allow me to be on that segment. Please.
Okay.
I can do that. That's no problem.
Because you know what? Somebody's got to stand up to the crowd. And it might as well be me and a little bit of Jim Beam.
Or some Fireball.
All right, guys, we're fixing to let y'all go drink because we got another segment we're fixing to have.
Hey, guys, we really appreciate y'all doing this tonight. This has been fun. We're going to do it again.
Yeah, good times, man. Good talk. It was good talk.
Yeah, it was, man.
It was nice meeting y'all, and roll tide, roll.
Roll tide, baby.
Hey, 26-14.
Night, y'all.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the small smacking off icon at the top of the screen now. Click the link at the bottom of the screen to watch last week's episode.